Take a move in the ring. You can hit me with the words you fling.
All right, when it comes to the news today, I guess leading the agenda is Jon Jones. He's taken this Francis Ngannou fight another step forward, apparently gone to the UFC and explored the possibility, what they'd be willing to offer him for it. He did not like the number they came back with. Have a little look at some of these tweets. He's gone on a bit of a Twitter rant.
Yeah, the tweet that stands out most to me is the one from yesterday, which it says, "The more I think about it, if I'm going to be taking big risks, I might as well go for all the cheese. I want that crown too. Send a deal." So when you think about that, you look at what he says. He's like, he's taking the risk. We know that, right? It's very clear. Because he's moving up in weight, taking on the most vicious power puncher to probably ever step into the octagon. And then it mentions that he wants all the cheese. So we know that he's chasing that money, and I'm glad that he's chasing that money, because you should get what you deserve. And Jon Jones probably deserves a lot, right? Or not probably, he does deserve a lot. He's been around forever. He's done everything.
I think he's
And
the
it
biggest
says, "I want that crown."
they have behind Conor McGregor and Khabib, right?
Oh, definitely one of the biggest draws right now on the roster. He's up there with Israel and Habib, and I don't know about McGregor. McGregor's at another level, but yeah, he's
Well, I
up
think
there.
you'll have McGregor there. Habib is just behind McGregor, I think.
Yeah,
And then Jones is by far the third biggest draw I think they have in terms of pay-per-view buys. You'll always get 700,000, 800, that kind of range out of him, won't you? Maybe 1 million if it's a big fight.
definitely. Yeah, he's a big star, so he deserves the big money, and I'm glad that he knows his worth. And then he also says, "I want that crown too." So could they be fighting if Stipe's out and he's not going to fight anytime soon? Are they negotiating to put an interim title on the line versus Ngannou? Are they, of course it's going to be a pay-per-view, so they're going to want a lot of money. I'm glad they're negotiating, and of course they're not going to agree to terms the first time around, right? So all these tweets that come after that is talking about how the deal is not getting done.
Yeah,
And
let's have a little look at it.
yeah.
He seems to live tweet his negotiations with the UFC on the phone, which is cool. I've never really seen that before, but let's see. Let's just trace it. So he says, currently in negotiation at UFC as we speak. And then, unbelievable. Seems like he was probably upset at something they said. Then he moves on. Before even discussing numbers, the UFC was unwilling to pay more for the Francis super fight or for me to move to heavyweight. Said I could possibly earn more in pay-per-view buys. And then there are a few more. He seems to hint at taking a long break. It's been fun, you guys. Maybe I'll see you all in a year or two. I think a lot of guys do this kind of thing. But anyway, then he says, maybe when they're ready to do better business, I'll come back. Until then, health, fitness, and family. I should have worded that differently. I actually think these guys do great business. Right now, things just aren't where I want them to be. And then finally, red panty night for the light heavyweight division.
Well, flipping and flopping.
Retirement or taking a break.
He's flipping and flopping,
Yeah.
like back and forth. And that's what negotiations are. It's back and forth. You hear something that you like, and then you hear something that you don't like. And then you say something that you feel like in your mind is the perfect number, and the opposition probably completely disagrees, right? So the negotiations are going. I feel that these negotiations are going to be going for a while, because there's nothing set in stone for Francis. What options does he have? He has the Jones fight, or he has the title fight. Is he going to fight somebody else, a contender in the heavyweight division next? No, that'll just be a waste of time, right? That'd just be unless he just wants to make money and take a risk, because in the heavyweight division, nothing is guaranteed. So
Let's
if
see
he
what
steps in there,
he also
yeah.
chimed in after John had his little Twitter rant. Francis Ngannou, in my opinion, the UFC aren't willing to make this Jon fight happen, or at least for what it's worth. Followed that one up with, as you were saying, no title fight, no super fight. Who knows when's going to be my next fight? Hope it's not in another 11 months or so. Hashtag this sucks.
Well, it shows you that
Yeah.
the money is not up to par. Like they're not offering enough for these two guys to fight.
It's interesting because
But
this pandemic, I thought, wow, this is the perfect time for fighters. They finally have leverage, right, over the UFC.
Mhm.
I thought we might start to see things like this, but especially with the superstars, why they don't need to come out and fight. They don't need the money. There are a lot of guys and girls on the roster who do need the money.
Mhm.
But with your champions, your Cejudos and Jones, you're seeing these things, right? They don't need to risk it all for a small paycheck. Pay me the big money, or I'll walk away. Is that you're going to see more of this? You think?
Yeah. If you're a fighter, you need to negotiate. You need to push back. Especially as a champion. Right now, Ngannou, he's the number one contender in the heavyweight division, right? Jon Jones is a superstar. He's a champion, the longest reigning champion, one of the longest reigning champions if you take away all the the criminal activities and stuff like that, right? But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just he needs to do this. You know what I mean? Because really, he's beaten everybody in the light heavyweight division, so he always has that to fall back on. You know what I mean? He could always fight a light heavyweight, defend the title, but he needs to negotiate and push back and get as much as he can out of this because the UFC is in a terrible position right now uh, with the limited amount of shows that they can put on and the position they're in during the pandemic. So they should. The Jones, I hope he pushes hard, and I hope the other champions are pushing hard to get more money right now because they should be trying to do it.